One of the most versatile and useful knots that we use on our site is the bowline. Bowline forms a fixed loop at the end of a line, which can be used for all kinds of things. The reason that it's used so much, not just at our site, but probably everywhere, is that it's easy to tie, and even if our loop is subjected to a great deal of strain, the knot is still easy to undo. It doesn't bind up on you. So when I'm tying a bowline, I first want to think about how big my loop is going to be, and that's going to be determined by how much line I have here. So to begin with, I am going to form a loop here. I have a trailing end, and that is underneath this leading end that's going to be forming my fixed loop. And once I know where that is and I've got an idea of how big I want this loop to be, I'm going to imagine this little guy here, the end of this line, as a rabbit. And I've got a rabbit hole, and I've got a tree. The rabbit comes out of its hole, it goes around the tree, and it goes back down into the hole. It's at this point that you're going to want to grab this part of the line, the rabbit, and its other end over here, and then you're going to want to grab the tree and pull that tight. This here is your fixed loop, and then here's the knot. It looks quite elegant when it's tied correctly, and like I mentioned, if there is a lot of strain that is put on this, it's still quite easy to undo. Basically, you're just sort of levering this part of the knot open, and it loosens everything up. You're able to take the rabbit back out of its hole, back around the tree, and back in like that, and the knot is untied. As solid as the bowline usually is, sometimes we want a little bit more insurance so we can sleep better at night while our gear is in the water fishing. And what we can do to sleep better at night is to add a safety knot to the bowline. And so to do so, you're going to want to give yourself a little bit more line than you normally would. You'll tie your bowline, and your tail's going to be a bit longer. It's going to be used to tie your safety. The way that I think about the safety is I've got the rabbit, and it's running parallel to this line of the loop. If you want to give yourself a picture or an image, the rabbit can kind of jump over the fence, go back underneath it, and jump over it again. And what it's really doing is, if you see, it's formed almost an X here. It's just gone around, and it comes around again. And then what you're going to do is you're going to send the end of the line underneath the path that you just formed there. So it's going to just run right next to the line that constitutes the fixed loop. And you can pull that tight, and there you have a bowline with a safety.